Hey there, and welcome to Business Over Cocktails. I'm Lauren Najar, your host and hype woman, bringing you real talk about entrepreneurship. This is the podcast where we dive into the bold whys, the messy middles, and the game-changing aha moments that lead to success. You'll hear unfiltered stories from entrepreneurs, plus bite-sized solo episodes inside the Business Chasers series, where we cut through the noise and get straight to what actually drives sales, visibility, and growth. So whether you're here to get fired up or finally feel seen in your business journey, pull up a seat, pour your favorite drink, and let's have a real conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Business Over Cocktails. I'm excited to welcome Logan Montague, who I've been connected with for some time. But again, these episodes, I get to know more about my favorite people. And I hope today you get to know more about Logan. She is your business BFF who is passionate about finding freedom in all areas of your business and your life. Welcome to the freedom life, all of the good things. Thank you, Logan, for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Eventually, I have said this in a couple episodes already, but eventually this will be in person at a speakeasy lounge and we'll get a little fancy and we can cheers. But, a lot of times these episodes are being recorded in the morning or in the middle of the day of a work day. So I got some sparkling water here. Yes, it's called Business Over Cocktails. We're not drinking cocktails. So
I know. I thought about making myself a fun little mocktail for this and then did not quite get there. I was on calls all day, but I am here with my giant water refueling today. I did dress up for this, though. I dressed up for you and pretended like I was going to a cocktail party. So,
oh my God.
Made a nice little cocktail dress, but I at least have on cute shoes and outfit. And I don't normally dress up for work. I normally work in athletic clothes. So I dressed up for this today.
Oh, I appreciate you. And you know what? It's so funny because the first few episodes, I'm like, ooh, I need to make a mocktail. Or, oh, I actually had something that looked like this, but it was a non-alcoholic Kentucky Mule. And I think in my very first episode, it's a solo episode, and I'm drinking one. I take a sip of it, and I'm like, I promise I'm not sponsored.
But one day, maybe, you know what? Start getting those cocktail companies one day. Start doing in-person episodes, have them right there. I see the vision for it in the future.
Ooh, all the alcohol brands or all the mocktails. Yes. There's so many mocktails now.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, and sponsored by restaurants.
Yes, I see it. This is the vision of the future.
I'm hungry now.
Me too. I'm here for this. I didn't eat lunch today, so.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's okay. Right after this.
I mean, for you, you're an hour ahead of me. It's going to be dinner time for you.
That is very true. I did have a snack. I had a snack between calls, and I ate a big breakfast intentionally.
Oh, I saw your Instagram post today.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to have such a long day of calls, and I knew I'd probably have time for a yogurt, so I ate a huge breakfast, so I'm good.
Yeah. You did have a good breakfast today. I saw it.
Avocado. Proof. I mean, I eat avocado toast every day, but today I was like, let me add my protein, coffee with it, and some extra fruit. We're good.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Okay, let's stop talking about
right.
food.
Let's move on.
Okay, I have a kickoff question. What's something people need to know about you that your social media doesn't show?
Ooh, that is a really good question. I feel like I try and be super authentic on social media and show as much of my life as possible. But I will say the one thing everyone is so surprised when they meet me is how short I am. That's more of a physical thing, not really something that you wouldn't know by me showing up. But everyone is always like, oh, wow, you're short. So I don't know if you need to know that, but it is something that people are very surprised to know.
You know what? That's so interesting. You just brought up a good point because I know that you are similar to me and where we started building, you have always had local clients because you have some family and stuff too that, you've done things for. But for me, truly, I've truly built business online. I didn't have any local clients until maybe a year or two ago was my very first one. And I've had this business now for 7 years. And so what's been always interesting to me is anytime I'm in group programs or masterminds, we've always just told each other hey, how tall are you? We always are just so interested. And so that's just something that I regularly do on my Instagram, not regularly, but every once in a while I'll pop it on Facebook or my Instagram stories and how tall are you? And I find out people who I think are my height or people that might be super tall are actually like super short or just like realizing how short people are. Like someone told me, I think I've gotten it a couple of times where like someone thought I was like actually short. And I'm like, no, I'm like 5'6". And for me, I don't think that's tall because I am the shortest in my family. And I just feel like that's average. And, you know, I played basketball and I was one of the shortest on the team. So like, I don't know. I always thought I was short,
Yeah.
but now going in person with all these women and all these in-person events, I am like one of the tallest ones. And so
That is
whatever.
so funny. I know. It is so funny. I've been in so many masterminds and I don't know why it just doesn't normally come up. And then I'll meet people in person. And last year I spent a large portion of my year traveling to meet a lot of the girls that I've met online and friendships. And I would get there and be like, they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so short. And we've been spending, you know, Zoom and FaceTimes and everything for years together. Had no idea how short I am. It's always so funny.
But yeah, that's just so interesting and so cool to find. That's like what's really cool because like you just have this person in your mind, like what you think they look like. And like people do like sometimes look different in person too versus like what, you know, maybe filters or something or like polished pictures. But like it's just so interesting to see height. Like that's just such a cool
Yeah.
thing to learn about.
Yeah. Well, and when I post pictures online, if I post like my mom or my family with me, they're all short too. So no one really notices until, I mean, if I post my boyfriend, he's 5, like 6 or 7. So even for a guy, he's kind of short. But for me, he looks like a giant. So that's the only time people really start to notice that I'm really short. But I don't think even then people realize how short I am.
Yeah. Especially too, because like men usually aren't just like 5'6".
Right. So
My brother-in-law is 5'7" and my sister is 5'9".
yeah.
So she doesn't wear heels around him.
See, that's the good thing I have. I can wear heels and it doesn't matter. And I'm still short.
True.
So
Okay, so everyone knows you're short now. So when did you start wanting to have your own business? Have you always wanted to have your own business or work for yourself?
I don't think that I always wanted to have, or I knew that I wanted to have my own business per se. I think growing up, I always was convinced that I would be the CEO of a company one day. I just had that in my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to become the CEO. I think even when I was a kid, I didn't know what that took. I didn't know that, you know, how that happened or anything like that. But I was just like, yeah, I'm going to be the boss one day. I'm going to be the CEO. And then I went to college and kind of like fell in love with marketing, learned marketing, worked in corporate marketing for a long time. And I think I kind of, when I was there, thought, oh, I'll work my way up the corporate ladder and, you know, maybe one day become like the CMO or something like that somewhere, or, you know, change companies, whatever. But I think that deep down, my like subconscious, my body always knew that I needed to be an entrepreneur. My dad has always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, he worked in his job for, you know, ever. But he always had like side businesses or side hobbies or things that he just always did on the side. And so I think that's kind of where I get that from now. And then when I unfortunately lost my corporate marketing job, I didn't really plan to get into entrepreneurship. It just kind of was like the next step. It just seemed like the most like logical next step without even really thinking about it. It just kind of happened. I just kind of started freelancing and then was like, oh, I think I can make a business of this. Why would I go back and work for someone else? So it just kind of happened without a plan. So that's where I think deep down I was always meant for it. I just wasn't fully aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting when like something like that triggers because you lost your job at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was like 2020. Do you feel like that influenced you like to work for yourself at that point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, no one was really hiring in marketing at that point because no one really knew what was happening. No one wanted to spend money. But I had freelanced a little bit in college as well, just for extra money and just kind of like more experience because I've always loved to work. That's one thing. Even when I was in high school and college, I always had like multiple jobs because I won't lie, I love money and I love working and I like being busy. And so I think for me, it was just like the next thing that I was like, all right, well, we'll just freelance for now, see what happens, then decide if I should go back. I mean, I will tell you at the time, I didn't know it was going to be long term. I started an MBA program kind of as a fallback. So that way, when I did re-enter the corporate world, I would have that extra credential to make me stand out, get another job when people were hiring again as a fallback. But then I finished that program and was like, actually, I think I'm going to keep on doing this whole entrepreneurship thing and run with it. So And by the time I had graduated, I mean, I already had a small team under me and like had a full business and kind of already decided I wasn't going to go back to the corporate life because I was just having too much fun on my own.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I resonate a lot with what you said because I saw myself as something powerful in a company. And I think my mom always kind of like told me that I was going to do that because she actually called me like a bitch. She's like, but in a good way. She was like, I can just see you like bossing people around and like, doing things. And like, I was like 14 or 15 when she told me that. And I'm like, of course it's going to make me feel like awful. I'm like, okay. Like, and so like she just always, I feel like influenced a lot of my decision making because she was just like, you're just so independent and like, you just don't take no for an answer and you're very argumentative. She was just like, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be all this stuff. And like I always just had in my head, I had this independence. And so like I resonate a lot with what you said about like always making money too. Like I was in college, eBay was huge. And so like I sold all of my school books when I was done with them on eBay. I sold my CDs, I sold DVDs, I sold clothes. Like I was making like an extra $300 a month that like paid for my school books. Like my parents didn't pay for my college. And then, my parents passed away while I was still in college. And so I had student loans and stuff. But like for me, I was always just like selling their stuff, like selling my sister's stuff, my parents' stuff, like when they were still alive. But like I would ask like, hey, like, do you want me to sell your CDs and movies and like things that we don't use anymore? And so like I always wanted to do that. And I was always just trying to make money. I did like Beachbody for a little bit and Herbalife. Like it was just trying to find other streams. Yeah.
I feel that.
So was there ever a moment, you kind of like, it sounds like you just wanted to try out entrepreneurship and freelancing and kind of almost like not stumbled your way, but like went down this path kind of organically just to try it out. But was there ever a moment, and I feel like there probably is a moment of this, but do you ever feel like you weren't cut out for having your own business?
Oh, for sure. I think that there was a couple of moments when I was like, you could go back and get a stable job. You could have someone write you a paycheck every week and you could live a fine life. And it's really enticing. But I would say the first time is when I had hired my first, I think like 2 employees, and I realized at the end of the month I needed to pay them and myself. Really crazy concept. I mean, crazy concept. And that was when I was like, is this really for me? Because I looked at my bank account and I was like, well, so I'm not going to be able to keep anything in the business and I still have to think about taxes. Like, what am I doing here? And so, because up to that point, to be completely honest, I was still just having fun. Like, I was just freelancing. I was like, oh, and then like I said, I just stumbled my way into it. And I was like, people said, oh, well, you should start hiring help because you're attracting so many clients, which is great news. Yeah, that's great. But I didn't understand all of the responsibility that came with that right from the start. I had never managed people before. I had never written paychecks. I had never done any of that. And then when that moment happened, it was kind of like, oh shit. And I was like, is this for me? And I had to really think about it and be like, okay, if you're going to keep going and doing this long term, you have to be able to get better at managing your finances. That's when I hired a bookkeeper and an accountant and was like, hey, teach me how to do this. I had to learn how to become much better with my money, not only in my business, but my personal life. And I thank God I did, because now I don't know if I would be where I'm at today, just even in my life, if I had just worked a corporate job, had a normal paycheck and done all the things, because I had to go and educate myself. I wasn't really taught a lot about that growing up. Personal finance, like they don't teach that in school. It was just, I was young. I was just having fun. My student loans, I think, had like barely even hit, or, well, I guess during COVID, they were frozen. So I wasn't really thinking about them. I didn't have a ton of responsibility at the time. And all of a sudden I have this responsibility of, I'm in charge of writing my own paycheck. I'm in charge of all this money. I'm in charge of other people's paychecks. So yeah, that was a big moment that I questioned it of, should I keep doing this? And I was like, you know what? No, you can educate yourself on this. You can learn, you can grow from this, and you absolutely can do this. And then I kind of kept going. There's definitely been moments, I think, over the years that you kind of question your sanity a little bit and you're like, should I keep doing this? Even I've had clients where I've had days where I have this weird pattern of, I don't lose one client, I lose 2 clients in a day. It's a really weird pattern. It hasn't been happening as much like in the past few years. I think I actually kind of broke that pattern, but for a while it kept happening. And it was almost like it started to become expected. So I'd get an email from one client. And then one time it was like 10 minutes later. Another time I went and like paid off my car. I was super excited one day. I was like, I'm going to go pay off my car today. Like, I'm super excited. I saved up all this money that I don't have to have a car payment anymore. I'm really proud of myself. Like, personally, went and paid my car off. I went to the gym right after that. I was walking on the treadmill and got an email that a client canceled. And I was like, that's super fun. That's a great way to celebrate. So there's just like moments like that you start to question your sanity and you're like, am I going to keep doing this? Because that's entrepreneurship. It's wild. You never know what's going to be thrown at you. And things always seem to come at weird times and throw curveballs at your life. And you have to really be resilient and be able to not take things personally and just really keep going, keep moving if you want to be successful in business and keep, whatever success looks like to you. That's the other thing I think is for so long, I was really focused on what success should look like and what everyone told me it should be, that I should want to have all these things and, just like the luxury bags, the handbags, the shoes, all the stuff. And I'm like, I don't actually like that stuff. I care more about experiences. I would rather spend my money on traveling. I would rather save for my future. I don't feel the need to do all of that. But for a long time, I was really under the influence of everything that's out there on the internet that's like, oh, you're not successful if you don't have 50 clients, if you don't do this, if you don't do that. And I actually ended up pretty miserable. So for a long time. And then I kind of had to burn that all to the ground and rebuild. But I think that's just part of entrepreneurship where you have to keep on keeping on. And if you don't give up, you can never really fail. You just have to keep tweaking, learning, growing, and changing what's for you. But yeah, so all that to say, I mean, I've had several moments where I've questioned it, but I don't think that I think at this point now, it's like the moments are always going to continue to come up. But as long as you never give in to those kind of like questioning, I don't think you can ever fail.
I feel like, again, we've been connected now for a while and we have talked a lot over the last like 6 to 8 months and like we've had conversations, but like it's so crazy just like hearing some of the things you're saying because like I'm going to say what you said. I'm like, oh my God, like, have we ever talked about this before? Because I literally feel like I'm hearing myself. And you said like it was really hard for you because you weren't finding a place on the internet. Like everyone was into luxury bags and travel. Do you know, like I also like have said that and like have also articulated that many times because again, when I started my business, like 7 years ago, it's almost 7 years. I started my coaching business, but those were the keywords. It was location independent.
I did not know that actually.
What that
Yeah, I had no idea. I feel like we've talked like so many times. I did not know that because I don't picture you in that way at all, I guess.
I struggled big time because like I could not find a way to like everyone was talking about handbags. Everyone was talking about like champagne and location independent. And so like I had just moved like right when I started my business, I moved to Chicago with my husband. That was like our dream to do that. But like we had been there for like 8 months at this point. And so like for me, like I felt like it was still so brand new and I was in a new location. I felt like I was on vacation because I was like in this new place that I loved. And like my apartment sat on Lake Michigan. Like I saw Lake Michigan out my window, no buildings in front of me. Like I literally, like that was vacation. And I struggled big time because that is all I saw was that you have to be working by the pool and having these crazy launches and cheersing with champagne and traveling the world. And like, I felt wrong for like not wanting that. And I could not find anybody and like could not like buying an expensive bag was just not for me. Could not do that.
Yeah.
But I never like actually did that stuff. But like, I remember I probably was creating content, maybe not saying those things, but trying to sound like those people and like trying to be luxury, but I know I wasn't. And like now I understand what like luxury actually means. Like luxury doesn't always mean expensive cars and expensive purses and things like that. Like luxury means there's different definitions to that. But yeah, like it's so crazy that you struggled with that too, because for a long time I could not find my place because I thought I needed all of those things. And like while I didn't participate or purchase any of that stuff, and I'm definitely not a world traveler by any means, but I just thought that like I should want that. And I struggled a lot of times with like, why don't I want that? And is that really all entrepreneurship is about? Like, why can't I just be happy living in Chicago in my high-rise apartment and building my business? And like, then that became my thing. That became like, yeah, like I already have the apartment. I live downtown Chicago. I live in the city. I'm by the river. I'm by the lake. I know a lot of people would like love to live here, but now I want to build a business that matches that. And so like I started like, again, I think that comes from confidence, but I think slowly but surely you start to like, no, I can be myself and I can do it however I want.
Yeah. No, I agree. And props to you for not like participating. So one of my trips, I went on a retreat to France with an old business coach. And it like in my head, I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's luxury, all of that stuff. And I felt so out of place. But myself and one of the other girls, the whole time we were in Saint-Tropez the whole time. And we kept going in all these like luxury stores and we felt like we needed to buy something. And so me and one of the other girls, we had extended our trip to go to Paris because we're in France. Why would we not go and explore? And while we were there, we're like, we should go in because we felt like we needed to. And again, she was like really in my corner. We kind of have the same values a lot. And we both were like, yeah, we should go into, we went into Louis Vuitton and we bought purses. And then afterwards, we were like, we just spent a lot of money and neither of us felt fulfilled. We went to McDonald's afterwards. Like, we literally went to Louis Vuitton, bought ourselves some bags. And do I love my bag? Yeah, it's nice. Do I use it all the time? No. Like, it's fine. I didn't feel any sort of fulfillment any different than I feel when I walk out of TJ Maxx with a new bag, to be completely honest. Like, I felt no different feeling. Was it a cool experience in Paris to go see the store? Sure. But, like, the actual fulfillment of it, I felt nothing other than, like, almost resentment. And that's why we were like, so you want to go hit up McDonald's? Like, let's go try out McDonald's in Paris. And that's what we did.
And you probably felt more fulfilled doing that.
I did. And it was really crazy. And that was kind of like the beginning, though. When I got home from that trip, I didn't feel like I wanted to show it off. I was like almost embarrassed to put it on social media and be like, yeah, I went to the Louis Vuitton store. Like, I did not feel any sort of fulfillment from it whatsoever. And I think if I ever got to a point in my business or my life where I value like luxury things like that, it's not to show off. It would never be. It would be because I want something that's going to last long term or something like that, whatever. But like I said, I feel no different than when I shop at TJ Maxx. Like, I felt nothing. And so that was really, when I got home from that trip is when I really started to take a hard look at what I had built and what I was trying to portray and what I was feeling. And that's when I was like, I'm not happy. This is not me. This is not fulfilling. I thought I needed this huge team to look good, make it look like I was successful. And people thought so. And I'm like, or that I needed, these things, traveling, like you said, working by the pool. Do I like working by the pool? Yeah. My version of freedom is that I can work wherever I want. However, most days I'm sitting right here at my computer. My version of freedom right now, it changes in different seasons too. Sometimes it is that like, yeah, I'm going to go run some errands during the day, but guess what? I'm probably going to work at night because you can't never work. And I think that's what that lifestyle a lot of times portrays of like, oh, I worked like 5 minutes today by a pool and I got a Gucci bag from it. And it's like, no, you didn't, first of all. And second of all, like, if that's what fulfills you in your life, I mean, no shade to anyone. Like, if that is what you really value and enjoy, great for you. But for me personally, I tried it. It was not a fun time. And now I'm like, I would rather just live here in the Midwest, enjoy my little life, live a comfortable life, but not be like, I just don't care. I don't care enough. I drive my 2015 Ford Explorer that I love and will drive until the day it dies. And I'm happy. Like, I don't care that it's 10 years old.
Yeah. I mean, coming from the banking world, though, and speaking of like being flashy and, money and everything, like I've been trained that usually the flashy people don't handle money very well. And so like, I worked at a bank. Right. I was still in college when I started my job as a bank teller. And so like very quickly you learn that the people who are the worst customers, the people that will complain about certain things, those are the people that don't have money, even though they think they do. Those are the people that are driving like Cadillac Escalades. They are spending $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 in their cars. They are the ones that get their nails painted and keep up the appearances every single week. And I feel like they can't afford to do that. But then those are the people that are going to be the most like complaining when it comes to like their money or like customer service or whatever. But when you have someone who comes in and driving a 2015 Ford Explorer and they look like they just, not maybe, they don't look like they just rolled out of bed, but maybe they're in there. Like, I always give my example of my uncle. He has had the same cut since 1980. He wears the same polo shirts, probably like from Kmart when Kmart was still open. If you're not familiar, it was similar like Target. Like Target and Walmart hybrid, I feel like maybe more so like a Walmart. Wears the same shorts or jeans and wears the same New Balance sneakers. I don't think I've ever seen him change from another version. And like has lived in the same house for 35, 40 years, drove a car that had 300,000 miles on it and then had to go over again in mileage because the dials just kept, and he just kept fixing the car. But he like, I don't know his like numbers, but I know that they've been very good with money and you would never know it. You would never know it because just how unassuming it is. And those are the people that you should be worried about, or those are the people you should actually maybe pay attention to, is like the people that are unassuming. And those are the people that really have it all together. And so, again, I resonate a lot with what you're saying is I don't like the luxury, fancy lifestyles. That doesn't resonate a lot with me. And like yachts and things like that. Like, and maybe the argument can be like, well, you don't have it, so you don't know what that feels like. It's like, no, but I don't know if I want it.
It's fun. Like, it's fun for like a day, maybe, but I don't need that as my like daily life. I don't even need that as like a yearly thing. Like, you know, it's just, it's so, I don't know. To me, it's a lifestyle that just doesn't excite me. And I feel like that's why now it makes sense, like why you and I connect and are so aligned all the time too, because we share a lot of the same values in that. I mean, all of my clients, even recently, especially as I've been like shifting my business a lot to really be more aligned with what I feel like my true calling and passions are. So many of my clients, when they sign with me, they're like, it's because you're not shiny. And I'm like, I think 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been so offended by hearing that. But now I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that because I am. And that's why they tell me they work with me. They're like, you're just your average girl. You don't have 1 million followers on social media. You're not trying to be like a big influencer. You just show up, share your life. This is what it is. And it's not this like thing that looks so unachievable or I'm up here and you're down here and you need to get on my level. It's just very real. And so I actually love when people tell me I'm not shiny now.
I like that too.
It's a huge compliment that I think I would have hated before.
Yeah, especially in the world of social media where it is a highlight reel. Yeah. And like you want to just be authentic. And so like I get that a lot too. I don't know if I've ever been called not shiny, but I definitely have been told like I'm authentic and you can tell like what you see is what you get kind of thing. And so I feel like I still work really hard at that. But yeah, I definitely resonate with that a lot too. What are you most proud of outside of your business right now?
That's a good question. I mean, outside of my business, I think in general, just the life that I have built. And really, I spent the last year, well, more than that, actually, year and a half, really breaking down my life and what was important to me, what values were important to me. Not just my business, but a lot of different areas. I lost a lot of friendships. I did some really intense therapy. I used to never take a break from work, and now I could do that. Like I, for example, was probably 2 years ago, never would have been able to be in a relationship because I worked. I literally went to bed. I woke up late because I would stay up all night working. I would work all day, get on calls all day with clients that I didn't really want to be on calls with, and then I would maybe go to the gym some days. And that was more of just like a social hour because that's where my friends were. And then I would go home and I would work. Like there was no time for dating or anything. So I think that I was able to spend a lot of time in therapy healing, number one, from like just past things and really dig deep in myself to create this life that now I am in like the happiest and healthiest relationship I've ever been in my life. And now I actually just moved in with my boyfriend. We're really, really proud because we've pretty much been flipping his house. He's such a kind soul. He let me turn his bachelor pad into a beautiful home. So woman's touch. But it has been such hard work and such hard labor that I will admit, the best person at doing manual labor projects. But, we spent months here every single weekend doing projects and turning this house into our home. And so I'm really, really proud of that because it's like a lot of tears, a lot of things that I never expected to do, but I'm really proud of that now we get to live in and make memories in.
Yeah, I love that. What do you think aligned success feels like for you, like right now?
Yeah, right now, I think that, how do I put this into words? Is that it gets to feel easy. It gets to be enjoyable and fun. And I'm not going to say like you don't have hard days or draining days because a lot of times, even when you're pouring energy into things that you absolutely love, some days you're just going to feel drained because it's a lot of mental energy. But I think to me is when you see things start to come easy, when you aren't begging for clients, when you're not begging for people to stay with you, when you are just being you, showing up, being authentic, and you're doing things that you truly love. You have offers that you love. You are living a life that you love also, that you're not just like the aligned success. Yes, that's in your business, but in your life, are you also practicing what you preach? Are you showing up for yourself in the same way? Are you taking care of your body, your mind, your spirit, like all of the different things? And I think that when you act in alignment with yourself and what you truly deeply desire and feel, that's when you start to see aligned success. That's when it's not forced and that's when it's real. And you're actually really proud of what you're built and you're really happy to be in the spot that you're in. Because I think for me in the past, I had success, quote unquote, but it was not aligned. And so that's where I think the difference is when you are building things and creating things that you truly, truly, truly are passionate about. And for me right now, that is what I am doing. And it is the most fun I've ever had in my business. And it's the easiest it's ever been.
Why do you think you've reached that point? When did that start happening for you?
I think it's honestly after I took that hard look at myself after I got back from that Paris trip, that was actually when it started. And it started more so, I just started letting go of things that didn't matter. And it was really weird. It kind of started my life first. So after that Paris trip, it was weird. I was going to the gym. I was like kind of doing things. But I would keep a notes log in my phone of like my measurements, my weight and stuff. And you look, so I got back from that trip like end of February, a couple years ago. And by April, I had dropped 30 pounds. Mind you, I was doing nothing different, other than I just made a decision that I was going to fall in love with my life and my business. I literally was just like, I'm done with this. Like I was just done like trying to fake that persona. And that shifted it. And so that's where it kind of started. Like, I just lost inches, the weight, it fell off. And people were like, what happened? Like, and I was like, honestly, I genuinely became a happier person. That's when I really started, like, really kind of being selfish too, in a way. I think sometimes it's okay to be selfish for a while. If you know that you have areas to work on, that's where I was going to therapy every single week. I was taking care of my body better. Like I said, I was doing the same things. I maybe started eating a little bit better just because when you're happier, I didn't want to eat as much like junk. But I just made a decision kind of. And then over time, I think it was just kind of a ripple effect of once you start to do this, I was getting in better habits and routines. And I wasn't sleeping until, 9:55 when I have a call at 10 a.m. I started going to bed earlier. I started just being more intentional with my time and things started to fall into place. And then I really just kind of like continued from there, just making decisions that felt in alignment. And if it didn't, I was like, okay, well, then it's not for me and something needs to shift and something needs to change. It was a really hard journey because in business, right, I had a lot of unaligned clients and I had to let some of them go. But also financially, they're paying my bills. I let go of a lot of my team. I made a lot of really tough decisions that had to be made if I wanted to find that aligned success, if I wanted to move into that. And so it just, I think you have to just decide though and start acting on it and start embodying it. And once you start doing that, things get easier over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but for me, it was just like making the decision. And then all of a sudden, like people would be like, you're glowing. And I'm like, I don't know why. Literally. And this was like 2 years ago. And I just kept on making decisions that were with my future version of myself in mind of what my higher self would do. And it just eventually like all falls into place.
I love that. I was going to ask you a question of, what advice would you give to someone who's kind of stuck in between those two versions of like who they are currently and where they want to be? But I think you kind of answered that really beautifully because you have to make that decision of like, this isn't working for me anymore. And just kind of like what you said, what your results of that were, it's like you lost weight and it's not like you went on crazy weight loss diets or anything. Like you just became a happier person. It sounds very easy, right? To make that decision. It sounds very easy to be like, I just decided. And like, I used to be triggered by that because like people are like, I just decided to make $50,000 last night. It's like, all right, there's a lot more that goes into that.
Yeah.
But like what the principle behind that is like you decided to work at it and like nothing could come in between you and then that goal.
Yeah. Well, I think it has to be made also not just like intellectually. I think it has to be made on like a soul level. Like your body has to be ready. Like everything in you has to be ready and stop resisting that. And you'll kind of know when it's time. You're like, I just decided. I think that's where that comes from. It is a lot deeper than just like, well, I just decided. Because you see like, I think, for example, there's so many people that say they do want to lose weight. And they're like, well, I just want like a magic weight loss pill. And because they intellectually decided they want to lose weight, but they don't want to do the work. They don't want to, show up. Whereas the people who do like fad diets. And it's like, oh, woman, do this now. But as soon as you stop, you gain it all back. Or, you have to make things truly become a lifestyle to make them happen. And that's where you have to decide to truly change your life and not just want like a magic pill. And I think that's where so many people in business and just in life in general, when we say we just decide, it's not that easy because like there's a difference of wanting the magic pill deciding and the like soul level, I'm ready to put in the hard work even on the hard days and be consistent to over time, this is my life.
Mm-hmm.
And never go back to those old ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. Like there's something that triggers that moment where you're like, I'm done with this. Like, and it's almost like a robotic response. Like it's just like there's no emotion behind it. It's like, nope, I'm ready. And like I love what you said about like it being on a soul level.
Yeah, it's kind of like a breakup. You know how like all the girls that are like, oh, I broke up with him last week and then this week. And it's like, okay, when you actually done though, And then it's like when you decide you're actually done, or the person who actually decides that they're done, instead of going back, that's when that change happens. Instead of, continuing to try and just put a Band-Aid on it continuously doing that, but going back to your old ways. It has to be when you're ready for that full change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we could talk for another 3 hours, truly, because all of this is so good. But I have actually some last minute fun rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
What's your go-to hype song?
Oh my gosh. We talked about this at your retreat and I said I don't have one and I still don't have one. Honestly, I don't have one. I literally don't know names of songs. Like I'm terrible at music.
If you ever book Logan for a speaking engagement and you ask her what her hype song is, it's either she wants to walk out to silence or please no one clap, or like what about just like crickets, like the cricket sound?
Honestly, I love silence. I'll be in the car and people will be like, can you put on music? And I'm like, oh. Like I do listen to music sometimes.
You want that?
Like it's not that I never listen to music. I do listen to music sometimes. I listen to a lot of country music. I'm a huge fan of Megan Maroney lately. Like she's who I played a lot, although she's like not really hypey. She's kind of sad and I'm not vibing with her like lyrics right now or anything. It's just, I just like her. I just am not a music person. I don't even pay attention to lyrics, to be completely honest. Like I can be like, oh, I love that song and have no idea what it's about. Okay. I'm just not a music person.
So maybe you have a hype song. You just have to listen to it. Be like, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I will tell you, this is probably kind of embarrassing, but when I'm at the gym and I'm running on the treadmill or doing like a really heavy lift, I listen to Disney Channel classics.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Okay. So I have to say, I have goosebumps right now. Okay. So I've done the Disney Princess glass slipper challenges. Do you know what those are?
I don't.
Okay, so at Disney World, every February, there are Disney Princess challenges. And so what the challenge is you run a 10K on Saturday and a half marathon on Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, you run them back to back.
Okay.
But the kicker here is, the medals are like literally this big. And if you do both runs, not only do you get 2 medals, but you get a giant ass medal that's like because you did the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. That's part 1. Part 2 is for the 10K, you actually run around Epcot.
Okay, that'd be fun.
Each race is themed after a Disney princess. So like before the race, you can like see all the Disney princesses. There's certain ones that come out. And then the half marathon also is like named after someone. But not only for the half marathon do you get to run at Epcot Center, but you can run in Disney World and you run through the castle and stuff. So, I mean, and then there's characters along the sidelines. Like you can stop and take pictures with them. But for me, I like timing. Anyways, a lot of Disney songs are very hypey. Into the Unknown, I feel. Very good song. Loved running to it. Frozen 2 had come out when I did the last challenge. It was right before COVID, like 2 weeks before the world shut down. We were in Florida. Did that. Love that song. But the 10K was Pocahontas themed.
Okay.
And just around the river bend, like running to that song, it's so good. Yeah. And it's like, just around the river bend. It was so good to run to that song. Oh my God. Now I feel like we have to have a whole podcast episode on like, oh my God, this song. Or like Mulan when they're, I don't know if have you seen Mulan?
Yeah. My favorite, I don't know if it's the one you're talking about, but I listen to, this one I do listen to a lot at the gym is I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Yes. That's what I was trying to think.
I love it when I listen to it all the time. I have like a playlist. It's, yeah, honestly, that's like if I had to choose like a hype thing, it's anything Disney.
Hey, why not? I love Into the Unknown.
I'm like, if people knew at the gym, that's what I'm jamming out to. Disney.
All right. Well, thank you for being on here. I loved how we ended this because now I just want to talk about Disney songs. The last thing is tell people, please, how we can connect with you and anything that's going on in your world.
Yes. So I am on Instagram mostly at socially.logan. I am also on TikTok. I'll be honest, I'm not on there as often, but I do try and stay consistent on there. It's more of my passion place where I like to show up again, socially.logan. And right now, I am not sure when this episode will air. However, this will be a pretty evergreen thing that I am launching live events for social media managers, agency owners, freelancers. So check it out. I'll probably be coming to a city near you no matter when this comes out. You can always travel in. I have my first event coming up soon in Indianapolis. But like I said, I'm going to be hosting them all over the country and specifically for online service providers. So super excited about that. I also have programs that help people get started in their social media management freelance careers where they want to turn it into a business and really create a lifestyle for them and their families that is sustainable and create businesses and lives that they absolutely love. So that's kind of what I have going on right now.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited for all of your events. By the time this airs, I think your event would have had taken place.
Yeah. So come check out the website. I'll have pictures and stuff. You can see that one. Sign up for the next one. I also have a membership that is specifically for social media managers, freelancers, agency owners as well, where there's lots of monthly kind of online virtual events and networking and things in there. So you can check that out. All of this is on my Instagram. You can find everything there.
Yay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
And we'll have Logan back later this week with our Business Chaser episode. And she's going to give us some good knowledge about the social media industry. So make sure you tune in later this week. Talk to everyone soon. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Business Over Cocktails, where real stories and bold business moves come to life. If this episode lit something up in you, share it with a friend, tag me at Lauren Najar or the podcast page at Business Over Cocktails. Make sure to leave a quick review as well. It helps more than you know. Until next time, keep chasing what matters and building the business that feels like you. Cheers.